Hello and welcome back to my channel. I think this is probably going to be the last video I do this year. I say that now because next week will be Christmas and then we're going away for a few days. So I might not have the chance to do one of these videos by myself. So I guess today is my review of the year video. Now, for those of you who haven't watched this channel before, this is really about me chronicling life, personal development, side hustles, growth as a midlife person. As you can see by the grey hairs, I'm not Gen Z, I'm a lot older than that. Anyway, so I originally set out this year to do some YouTube videos as practice for myself, to practice in front of a camera. I've never really liked it, but having done probably about 45 maybe videos so far this year, actually I feel a lot more comfortable. And again, this is really about putting in the reps. As I've said before, I don't have a script, I don't edit, this is it. And I would heartily recommend anybody who wants to try and push themselves a bit, or develop a skill, if you will, to try this. Just record themselves and upload it onto YouTube and see what happens. You might be surprised. You might surprise yourself how comfortable or not you are, how many lines. I'm looking at the camera now and thinking, oh, blimey, I'm looking old. Anyway, and so yes. So firstly, I would say get the practice in, get trying it. You might like it. If anything, it's a skill that we all need now. The world is even more online than it was last year. It's even more about visuals than it was last year. And so, yeah, I had originally planned to do it once every 2 weeks for this year. So that would have been about 26 videos. But I'm going to continue doing this into the new year and just see how things go. Maybe monetize one day, who knows? But that's the first thing. In terms of the review of the year, generally, so I came across this website, and I'll put the link below, that had 40 questions for the year in terms of reviewing the year. So here are 40 questions to help you review the year type of vibe. And I've gone through the questions and realised I've done nothing this year. I mean, literally haven't done a lot this year in terms of expanding my existence, hitting my New Year's resolutions. Who does? But yeah, it's been weird. It's weird, strange looking through. I've got the list here, so I'll go through some of them. So, what did you do this year that you'd never done before? Well, one of them was to record on YouTube, so that's good. Some of it was to do with investments, some of it was things I paid for, but it wasn't rocket science stuff. It wasn't, changing anything of any note. Did you keep your New Year's resolutions? Next question. Did anyone close to you give birth? No. All my friends, most of my friends have had kids for years. Even if they are on their second marriages, I think they've already had their kids as well, so no. Did anyone close to you die? Yes, a close family member or step family member passed away. I didn't know he was ill, so to me it kind of came as a surprise, even though apparently he'd been ill for a while. People have known about that. So again, that's one of those wake-up calls that we all need to say, get on with living. We don't get out of this alive. I keep saying that. We don't get out of this alive. So everything is terminal. We're all terminal. We just don't know the timeline for most of us. So get on with living. Next question. What cities, states, countries did you visit? Okay, so I live in Asia. As I've said in videos in the past, I'm an expat. Live in Hong Kong, and I've only done Hong Kong, London for a trip back in the summer, the northeast of England where my wife's family are from, and one place in Vietnam. It's not to say that that's kind of bad, and it's very different to my early years as an expat where every few months I'd be off. But life changes, family and circumstances. But it's like, oh, that's kind of not very spectacular. It doesn't have to be spectacular, but it's exactly the same template as last year. Same places as last year. So, yeah, something to keep in mind. What would you like to have next year that you lacked this year? Better sleep. Physical vitality. My body, I just need to work on that. A discernible side hustle business. And I've been talking about side hustles for a long time. I dabble, but I need to be more focused on that front. What was your biggest achievement of the year? I think it's a work-related thing. You know, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, it was quite positive. Biggest failure? No progress on those side hustles, despite having different things kind of lined up, as I've talked about in this in these videos in the past. Certain things I planned to do before year end. Yeah, didn't happen. What other hardships did you face? Again, health, energy, knees. Suffer illness or injury? Yeah, same story. What's the best thing you bought? Now put down new work shoes. That's like, because I couldn't think of anything I bought of any note, and not that I need to spend on anything, but the work shoes was an interesting one because firstly, I have shoes that I know fit my feet, and what I mean, I've got very wide feet, so certain designs don't work. But I bought these shoes knowing the brand, so I bought it off Amazon, and they fit, and so I know going forward this brand works for me. It's the simple things like that. That's fine. Whose behaviour merited celebration? Oh, some training that my wife did. Whose behaviour made you appalled? Politics. Not going to talk about that. What did you get really, really excited about? I had a school reunion in the summer in the UK, which was really good because I haven't caught up with some of those people for decades. So that was really cool. Compared to this time last year, are you happier or sadder, thinner or fatter, richer or poorer? So my answer was same on happiness, slightly fatter, maybe slightly richer, because I didn't really spend on anything, basically. What do you wish you'd done more of? Again, the pattern is the same. Sleep, exercise, side hustle, doing different shit. So, in other words, this is going to be my template for next year. This is what last year was about. How can I address these issues to shape a better 2025? How are you spending the holidays? Basically the same as we did last year. And again, that's not bad. And I shouldn't make it sound like, yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated with life. But I do realise I need to try and break out of certain cycles of familiarity and, yes, familiarity. Right, just a few more questions, just to give you a sense of my year-end review. What was it? Oh yeah. So what was the best book you read? Well, the irony here, I say irony, it's not even irony. I haven't completed a book this year. It was only when I was doing these questions that I realised I've kind of not actually picked up a book fully and read it through. There were some books hanging over from the previous year that I completed, and I have started a book which I'm going to take on holiday and hopefully complete. And I've skim read some books I've had in the past, but I haven't picked up a new book this year and completed. I think that's something I also need to change. Well, it's a combination of rereading some books that I have liked in the past. I need to do that. I also need to fully complete certain books that I already have in my bookshelf anyway, that I haven't really started. Right. How would you describe your personal fashion this year? I know there's some quite random questions here. My personal fashion, kind of consistent as it's been in the last X amount of years. I have done some spring cleaning, literally throughout stuff that I probably last wore 8-10 years ago, but had for 8-10 years prior to that. So yeah, I need to kind of realize certain clothes need to be fully binned. Right. Right. The last one I'm going to talk about, well, actually there's 3 I'm going to talk about, and then that'll be my review. So, who was the best or most interesting person you met all year? Don't know. In other words, get out more. I've just got to get out more. What valuable life lesson did you learn this year? Life happens, what I wrote, life happens through you or for you. So in other words, life is happening, you've just got to stay engaged. It's happening regardless. But also, give yourself some grace when it comes to getting everything done. So I'm beating myself up about all these things that I did or didn't do this year. But you know what? I'm as human as the next person. Yeah, I love self-development. I love self-growth. I love all those kind of things. I'd say this year has been fairly low in terms of actual application and impact on those fronts. So I hope that this channel is going to give me more of a focus to continue to push on that front, because at the end of the day, we all need to keep on growing to stay relevant in our careers, to stay grounded in our environment, and just to trying to move towards contentment. And the last question, what is a quote that sums up your year? So this is a quote I learnt when I was in my teens, I think, and I've always remembered it, or I've always remembered a version of it, and it goes as follows: you are what you repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. So in other words, put in the reps. These videos are a version of putting in the reps, and I'm very, very glad that I've been doing it. At the same time, I know I need to find more areas in which to put in the reps, so that this time next year when I'm looking back, I'll say, well, look at this list of 40 questions. I'll be knocking it out of the park on so many of them. But I've got to give myself some grace. You know, to be fair, I can't actually remember a lot of the things I did early in the year, so I'm kind of still tweaking some of these questions as things come back to me. You know, there's a number of questions. I only gave you a handful out of the 40. So, as I said, I will try to put this in the comment section so you can try and and yeah, try these questions out yourselves. Yeah, well, feel free to subscribe as we enter another year and try to better our lives. If I get a chance, I may do a video before the year end, maybe even when we're on holiday. We'll see. But yes, but otherwise, stay well. Have a fine holiday season, and until next time, over and out.